the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Buckeye fans? Welcome back to another episode of Locked On Buckeyes for the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast. It is Friday, May 28th in the year 2021, and I am looking forward to this day for a very, 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 very long time because to me, it's not only the beginning of summer to many people, but it's the beginning of a time period where vacations are going to be had, and we're going to have a long streak of amazing weather. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at JStevens07. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter as well at Locked On Buckeye. Lined up for today in segment 2, we're going to talk about big things coming. One more player that's highlighted this week. Today is a wide receiver. That's all I'll tell you. The only I'll give you about what player will highlight in segment 2. Segment 3, some advice to boost ratings for the College Football Playoff Committee. And I think you will really, really like what has to come out of my mouth very, very soon. But before we get to all that, now is the perfect time to remind you to make sure you check out the Locked On Big Ten podcast, because there's simply no better place to get all the news on the Big Ten Conference than with Big Ten Ben Stevens and the Locked On Big Ten podcast. Follow or subscribe to the Locked On Big Ten podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your fine podcast. As fans of sports, the days that our teams are playing, or the days that games are played, really is ideal, and almost as ideal as knowing or the games being played at the proper time. There are some fans out there that don't like midweek games, and you don't want a game played on a Thursday. You don't want a game played on a Friday. Okay, I get it. I understand it. That's your preference. There are some fans that say, I don't care what day you play. Just make sure when you play at the time that is right for me and my lifestyle. Okay, I get it. I understand that. But one thing we can do now, with it being May 28th, the end of May, Memorial Day weekend, if you want to make plans for the fall, well, there are 5 game times that are concrete and that are set that will help you do just that. We know some of the game times previously. One game time, the game against the team up north, that time rarely, if ever, changes. I remember the game of the century, as they called it, 2006 against the team up north. That was a game at Ohio State in the shoe. 42-39, I believe, was the final score, and that was a 3:30 kick. That was 1 versus 2, and many people said no matter who wins or loses this game, this should be a rematch. There should be a rematch of this game in the national championship, the BCS national championship. We all remember Ohio State won that game, finishing a 12-0 regular season, and then got mollywopped by Urban Meyer's Florida Gators. Yesterday, it was announced that we have concretely known there are 5 game times set for Ohio State. We already knew the September 2nd game on a Thursday to open up the regular season on the road at Minnesota was going to be a game on Fox. It's going to be an 8 p.m. Eastern time kick. The very next week, September 11th, hosting the Oregon Ducks. They leave Eugene, Oregon, make the trip across country. We remember what the Oregon AD said about Ohio State, and how he wanted to plant a proverbial Pac-12 flag on the field, not just a flag for the school, but a Pac-12 flag, way different, more disrespectful than what Baker Mayfield did after they made a trip to Ohio Stadium and beat Ohio State. That is a 12 noon kick. It's also on Fox. We knew that one. So the very next week, week number 3, Tulsa comes to Ohio State. That is going to be a 3:30 p.m. Eastern time kick. That's going to be on FS1. I think Tulsa is going to be a decent Group of 5 team. They have some defensive backs. I believe their top 3 corners are in the transfer portal. 2 just entered. 1 had been in the portal for a while. So that's going to be an interesting kind of thing to watch and to talk about right during the week of that game to see how that all transpired throughout the summer. But that's going to be a 3:30 p.m. Eastern time kick. I think for the Tulsa fans, they're going to enjoy that. That'll be, I believe, a 1:30, I believe they're in Mountain Time, a 1:30 p.m. kick, which is great for them. Whole lot better than for those Oregon Duck fans or Pac-12 fans the previous week, which they have to have a 9 a.m. Pacific time kick. That's a whole lot different. 9 a.m. versus 1:30 or 12:30 your time. That's a whole lot different as far as, hey, I got to wake up early and be ready to watch this game way earlier than I might want to be. October the 9th versus Maryland. That is going to be a 12 noon kick. The network that'll carry that game, that is to be determined. I believe that is the week before the Ohio State bye week. That very well could be a Big Ten game, Big Ten Network game. That could be an ESPN game. I do not believe that'll be a Fox Sports game where Fox, we get Gus Johnson, Joe Klatt, Jenny Taft, get that broadcast trio on that game. That could also be an FS1 game. I don't think it'll be an ABC game. Maryland, I think, will make some noise offensively in the Big Ten, be one of those teams that offensively good, defensively has a lot of holes. But I just don't know right off the top of my head which network that'll be. I like to try to plan these things out. Just can't do it just yet. And then, of course, the game, November 27th, against the team up north in Ann Arbor, Michigan, 12 p.m. noon kickoff. There is a Fox game as well. So as it looks right now, I do believe you're going to have the number one broadcasting team on Fox broadcasting 3 of these games so far, the Minnesota game, Oregon game, and then Michigan. They may not do the opener. I know Joe Klatt gets a lot of Ohio State assignments, him and Gus Johnson. They may want to save them for another broadcast, either a game on Friday or Saturday. But I understand they want to open that with their number one team, with the team that provides the best ratings for them every single year. It makes a lot of sense. I'm in a very good mood today. Very excited. First, game times to me, networks to me, that's kind of my alley. I have never worked for a network, national brand like that. I would love to at some point do some things on the national variety eventually. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'll just stick around with you for as long as I can because I do enjoy this podcast every single day, meeting here with you. With all that being said, it's time to step away, go back to our series, Big Things Coming series, where we're highlighting different today is a receiver, different players to expect big things from in the upcoming season. But first, check this out. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your sports action. Baseball season is in full swing. You can track all the action at BetOnline. Get all the latest news and info for all your sporting needs, including MLB, NBA, NHL, and all your UFC/MMA action. Before the next pitch, head over to BetOnline on your laptop or mobile device and check out all the great sporting news, sign-up bonuses, and contest information. Don't sit on the sidelines anymore, as this is your chance to get into the game as teams prep for their runs to the playoffs. Head to betonline.ag on your laptop or mobile device to sign up today. And when you do, make sure you use promo code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, your online sports book experts. And as we roll on here on this Friday, Feel Good Friday edition here of Locked on Buckeyes, a little scheduling note I would love to throw at you for what's to come, at least in the month of June, probably in the month of July as well. The podcast will be going to 3 days a week. It will be a Monday, Wednesday, Friday edition, Friday sequence for the podcast throughout this, at least through June. I'm pretty sure in July as well. There's a lot of recruiting stuff coming up over the next couple weeks, so we will be highlighting that, have some different things to highlight different players over the next couple months as well, players, coaches, all that thing. So this coming Monday, there will be no podcast episode this coming Monday. So Memorial Day, no episode. We'll be back Tuesday. We'll be back Wednesday. Then we'll be back Friday, June 1st, June 2nd, June 4th. And then the following week, we'll go to the Monday, Wednesday, Friday edition or sequence until we end up going back to 5 days a week to really ramp things up for the start of the 2021 college football season. So we have hit on a few players this week. We've hit on Sevyn Banks. We've hit on Josh Proctor. We have hit on Marcus Crowley and Jeremy Ruckert. I almost forgot one of them. Not written down right in front of me. I almost forgot one of them. But today, a receiver. The first receiver. No, it's not Wilson. No, it's not Olave. If you remember the one qualifier that I mentioned for this week's sequence of shows, these are all players that have played at Ohio State, and we have seen a small glimpse of what they can do on the field. Marcus Crowley played. Jeremy Ruckert played for a while. Josh Proctor played. Sevyn Banks played, and I do think the projection for him to be a first rounder will be something as well that we'll see throughout the season. But today, Jaxon Smith-Njigba. You may be thinking that, Jay, you want to think about a Olave or a Wilson because they've been there for a while. Olave came back. We know what to expect. But if you've noticed a trend on the players this week, they have not been players that have been stars at Ohio State. They have not been players that have been guys that have really terrorized a lot of defenses consistently. But guys that we can expect big things from. Crowley, after recovering from an injury. Ruckert, really going to be, I believe, be more of a focus in the offense this year. Who else is there? Proctor. Yeah, the Sevyn Banks. I think he played better than advertised, and he'll play a whole lot better than advertised going forward next season. But Jaxon Smith-Njigba is an interesting one. If you, like I have with everybody else, if you look at his numbers from last year as a freshman, nothing he did really will say it wowed you. Played in 7 of 8 games, had 10 catches, 49 receiving yards, 4.9 yards per reception, 1 trip to pay dirt. That came in week 1, a phenomenal, spectacular catch in the back of the end zone. They originally thought that it was not a catch, and you saw the toe tap in the back of the end zone to make that a touchdown. He does stand at 6 foot, even 196 pounds, a really good, sturdy, solid frame for a receiver. He had 163 snaps last year. Now you look at the numbers: 10 for 49, 1 touchdown. That doesn't wow you. That doesn't mean that doesn't stick out to you. It doesn't surprise you. It doesn't say, ooh, we need that guy. It doesn't say anything like that. So you might be thinking, Jay, why in the world are you doing this week's series? And why in the world are you going out here and saying Jaxon Smith-Njigba is someone that we can expect big things from, knowing, as you know, Emeka Egbuka, Julian Fleming, and you even have Marvin Harrison Jr. are right there as well. And they're going to be competing for catches just like everybody else. There's a couple reasons. There's a couple. The first one is the offseason that there's 3. The first reason is the offseason that we have this year, which is different than last year. Think about this. You're a high school senior. You decide to early enroll at whatever university or college you're planning to play collegiate football or collegiate athletics at. Okay. Jaxon Smith-Njigba, 5-star recruit, I believe, from the state of Texas, ends up early enrolling at Ohio State in January of 2020. Okay, typical. That's normal. Middle of March, beginning of March, you find out that things are kind of getting shaky, getting rocky, and the program is saying, no, we're not going to have our regular offseason program. So you're leaving your home, you're leaving your school, you're not going to your senior prom, and all of the things that you're accustomed to doing your senior year, because you want to be the best you can be at Ohio State and prepare as early as you can at that school. I get it. It's a trend of the day. But when you derail or you alter or put a detour on the offseason program at Ohio State, you're not able to build up the strength in your legs, your core, in your upper body like you would like. You're not able to build up the knowledge of the playbook and the routes. The routes are probably similar to what you run at Ohio State. They may be a little bit different. Footwork's going to be improved because you're going to get more training from a better coach in Brian Hartline than what you had in college. So I get all of that stuff. But really, the main thing to me is really that strength conditioning, that core conditioning, upper body conditioning, the physical conditioning, the stamina and the cardio conditioning, all of those things that really you're going to be really putting more of an emphasis on while you're at Ohio State or as an early enrollee. You're getting that. And so I think part of the reason that last year you saw him be okay at times, and we knew the potential, but it really wasn't tapped into. One, Ohio State didn't really need him to play that much last year with the receivers that they had with Jameson Williams, Garrett Wilson, and Chris Olave. You didn't really need him to at all. But then also, I don't think that his physical body was ready for that portion of college football that early on. You're getting that now. You're getting the physicality and you're seeing physical traits from him via the blocking. Another reason why I think we're going to see some really big things from him this year. You can talk about his route running and his hands and his ability to make spectacular catches and his improved footwork. You can talk about all of those things. But I do believe the blocking has been ramped up and has been improved this offseason. And that goes back to the very first thing that I mentioned, the offseason program. His core is stronger. His upper body is stronger. His legs are stronger. His hands are stronger. His hand placement, might I add you, is going to be a whole lot better via the blocking. And he might be one of the best blocking wide receivers that Ohio State has. And he gets what Ohio State needs him to do on the edge in space via the running game when he's blocking. I think all of those things are part of the reason. And also, last but not least, I mentioned a couple of the other guys that are very, very prominent, will be a major focus of every other defense out there. You got Olave on one side. You got Wilson going back to the outside from the slot where he was last year. The outside where I think it's going to be a great thing for him when he gets into the NFL. People can look back and say, okay, you did good in the slot. You did good at the outside. We can use you wherever. Just kind of use you as a Swiss Army knife. Wherever we need you to be, yeah, I'm going to clap and say, we're going to put you right there and make this bad boy happen. So you got Olave on one side, Wilson on the other. And then you got Ruckert at the tight end spot. And let's just say they go 4 wide receivers, take Ruckert out, and they have one back in the backfield, a different look than what Ohio State normally has. And let's just say it's Julian Fleming, a guy who's already played a little bit. So you have those 4 guys out there. Who are you going to guard? Help me. If you're an opposing defensive coordinator, DB coach, you're trying to properly place every DB in the right spot for your defense to be successful. Okay, you're going to put one corner on Olave, one corner on Wilson. Will that corner roam and follow Olave or Wilson around the field? Let's say Olave has one, Wilson has the other. No, since college, they don't really do that. I think it would be better for the defense if they did that and better for your prospect when it comes to being a future NFL player. But I'm not the coach. So who do you guard? And be the underneath routes, the crossing routes that I think we're going to see Jaxon Smith-Njigba run, the deep post or the post corner routes, or just getting over the middle and finding the hole in the defense. Whatever route it is, you're going to find he's good enough. He's amazing to be a receiver that he is, either outside or inside, but he's playing your slot. And your slot's going to be guarded by your number 3 corner, and Smith-Njigba is going to be really good. He's going to beat a lot of the guys that are guarding him because his physicality, his hands, he's just improved all around this offseason. Guys, we got one more segment to talk about today. When we come back, we'll discuss that. A way to improve the ratings for the College Football Playoff Committee to make them look a whole lot better at that job. Do I think they'll heed what I'm about to say? I don't know. But we got to say it to find out if this will actually happen. But first, check this out. You have heard me for quite a long time discuss Built Bar, how good they taste, how beneficial it is to your health and everything like that. But here are some details that I might not reiterate or that I might not say very often. Did you know that Built Bar has 9 delicious flavors? Plus, they occasionally have limited time flavors as well. When you talk to a Built Bar fan, they're definitely passionate about their favorites. If you don't know the Built Bar flavors, well, you're missing out. A few of them are coconut and coconut almond. Trust me, those are my favorite. You may say, Jay, coconut isn't that good. Try it. Don't knock it before you try it. Mint brownie, salted caramel, just to name a few. So there's a flavor for everyone. Not only are Built Bars the best tasting, but they're also healthy as well. Low calorie, low sugar, high in protein, high fiber, and they're also great for the keto diet. Go to BuiltBar.com and use promo code LOCKED15, LOCKED15, and you will get 15% off your next order. Once again, go to BuiltBar.com and use promo code LOCKED15. You will get 15% off your next order at BuiltBar.com. And as we wrap up, and end this week's episode, the episodes in the month of May, before enjoying a beautiful, beautiful Memorial Day weekend. I surely hope everybody have a barbecue or find a barbecue to go to or as some people do the bar crawls, go ahead and do a barbecue crawl, hop around to different barbecues, get all the food. Hey, you know how it is. Go out there to the barbecue, get you a to-go plate, a styrofoam box, or whatever it is. Go get that thing. Why? Because you owe it to yourself. You owe yourself to treat yourself every now and then, and this is a time of year to do just that. Now, if you're saying, Jay, I'm not trying to do the whole meat thing, okay, I get it. I understand it. But if you are, go there to the barbecue and treat yourself. Speaking of treating ourselves, the College Football Committee. Now, I haven't done Jay's Weekly Rant in a while. This will not be a rant, more so advice for the committee. So, my entire life when I've been able to enjoy and really consume college football and know what's going on, it really started around the BCS era. Now, before that, the Bowl Coalition and Bowl Alliance, that's a conversation for another day to really dive into what really birthed those things and what those were. The BCS era, that was me. Now, there were 4 BCS bowls: the Fiesta Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Orange Bowl, and the Rose Bowl. Those were the 4 BCS bowls, really the 4 most prestigious bowls as well. You can throw the Cotton Bowl in down in Dallas, has its own stadium as well for the Cotton Bowl. Or the stadium is called the Cotton Bowl. But those were the bowls. And then ultimately the BCS National Championship game came in that 4. And then I believe year 4, year 5, they ended up saying we need to add another game to make the National Championship stand by itself. We could still have 4 BCS bowl games and then a BCS National Championship game as well. So what we ended up finding was, and I'm going to go to my calendar on my small little calendar here to get the dates right for this year. So January 21st. So the original time period would have been so this past year, January 1st was on a Friday, New Year's Day. You would get your BCS Bowl games would start that day. So now it wasn't a playoff, so you would have the 3 or 4, depending on the time period, the sequence of events. 3 or 4 BCS games would be played January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And then you would have the national championship at the beginning would be played January 4th. So you would have New Year's Day, you would have 2 games, or 1 game, the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th. You would have those games smashed in a 4-day span to kind of celebrate and end the season at the same time. When they added a 5th game, or the BCS National Championship game, you would have your games January 2nd, January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, I believe. You would have another bowl game after that. But then the National Championship game would always be a Monday. There would always be a week of time break in between the beginning BCS games and then that Monday when the national championship would be played. That would have been this year on the 11th, just like this year's game was played. So there's one odd thing about this when the committee took over that myself and others said, you guys don't make any sense with the moves and the rules that you guys are handing down. So with the committee, they're saying the playoff games, unless it's a year where the Rose Bowl is a playoff game, due to contractual obligations, that game has to be played on New Year's Day, and I'm so glad that that's the case. We're going to play the playoff games on a Saturday, not on New Year's Day. So let's just say that for some reason, a Saturday happens, like New Year's Day happens to be on a Monday or a Sunday, and they want the games to be played on a Saturday. They want to have playoff games played on a Saturday, not New Year's Day, when ain't nobody working. Ain't nobody working. Ain't nobody traveling. Everybody's partying. Everybody, you already know people are hungover, and they're just trying to watch the football like they've done their entire lives. Even before the BCS, New Year's Day was kind of like an unofficially official holiday for college football fans, or for America. Well, it's already a holiday for America, but it's also an unofficial holiday for college football fans, for them to be able to sit back, relax, and enjoy football all day long. The committee kind of came back and kind of changed that, altered that, messed that thing up, and I said, you guys are crazy. So you're not playing the playoff games on New Year's Day when ain't nobody doing nothing at all. And then you're still going to play that national championship game on a Monday like the BCS, kind of piggybacking off of that. So I got a solution. 2-parter, very simple, very easy. It's doable. We can make this thing happen. Number 1, play every playoff game on New Year's Day. Now, let's just say they end up having a scenario where they expand 8 game, 12 game, 16 game. I actually think that I think the whole situation where they actually have the New Year's 6 games, I think they were kind of setting everybody up for an 18 playoff expansion eventually. we'll discuss that down the road as well. But I think that was kind of the sequence of events of things that was going to happen. So play every playoff game on a Saturday. No, on New Year's Day. Anybody doing nothing. College football is already a day reserved. New Year's Day is a day reserved for college football anyway. So make that happen. Yes, you're going to have some college basketball, maybe some NBA as well. But everybody knows New Year's Day is all about the college football. So play the college football playoff games on New Year's Day. And then second, play the national championship on the day that is reserved for college football. Very easily. Playoff games played on New Year's Day. The championship game is always played with a week off in between the games on a Saturday. Is it that hard to kind of do that? No. So let's just take this calendar right here in front of me. Calendar right there for those of you that are watching via YouTube. And this past year, January 1st in 2021, that was on a Friday. I mean, perfect at all. You can ramp up and have extra games on that Saturday as well because ain't nobody doing nothing this Saturday. So you're going to have the playoff games played on January 1st on a Friday. Follow that up, January 9th, 2021, national championship. You're going to have more eyeballs, higher ratings. You ain't going to have people that are in the know, that are inside covering college football, consistently complaining every year about the games ending very, very late and wondering why do we still play these games on Monday. And to boost ratings, make y'all look better. A committee that has no parameters, no guidelines, no nothing. If y'all at least put that in, it'll make y'all look smart. And it might allow these conferences to stick along with this method a whole lot longer. I'm not saying I'm a big fan of it, but if you make good moves, if they make right moves, the conferences who own the playoff, they might yeah, it's a good idea. We might keep y'all around a whole lot longer after the contract than we had planned. Guys, this is fun. Enjoy the weekend. You can follow me on Twitter at JStevens07. Memorial Day weekend, your boy is gone. Your boy is going to enjoy some beautiful weather. And in the meantime, between now and the next time we meet, or now before you get too busy, make sure you switch over to search, follow, subscribe the Locked On Today podcast because it is a place to get more of the sports news you need in less time with the Locked On Today podcast. Follow the Locked On Today podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast. Guys, two final comments. Go Bucks and happy Memorial Day.